And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of DeathStryke Media's Force Friday show. My name is James Waddington, and it is Friday. We're talking Star Wars, and more Star Wars. I am joined today by the one, the only, the very dapperly dressed James Armstrong. How you doing today?
Doing well. There's nothing like driving up I-35 in rush hour traffic while wearing all black.
I bet you're hot.
My AC kind of works.
And Texas, means it doesn't work at all, as we all know. Although you can have the 460 AC, which is all four windows down, traveling at 60 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, get out of the city limits to do that one.
Yeah, you're not going to go 60 on 35. Ain't no way.
No.
Not at this time of day anyway. All right, well, if you've never joined us on a Force Friday show, what happens is we have a few Star Wars topics, say about 5 or so, and we run them down and talk about them. For you guys returning, thank you guys so much for helping us grow. We're now at we're still under 50 subscribers, but we're growing every day. We're getting new subscribers every day, so please hit that subscribe button, like and comment, please. It helps us and it helps you guys. And that's all I'm going to say for now. To the end of the show, where I'll do a nice recap and have the same thing said. So we're just going to dive right into it. We have the voice of Princess Leia, or as we know her in Forces of Destiny. She was actually done by a young lady named Shelby Young. Mm-hmm. She actually goes in to a interview with the Star Wars Reporter. And she basically goes on to mention that it's very sweet. She got very sweet messages and tweets about, playing Princess Leia. And she's feeling very honored to carry on the legacy of Princess Leia. And she hopes that maybe this is an introduction for new young fans to come along, maybe see Leia for the first time. So, and she's real honored to be part of that. And she also goes on to mention that she would love to keep playing Leia pretty much forever. It's kind of how she intended to, how she said it. And I kind of agree. I loved her voice as Leia. I know it's not Carrie Fisher's voice, as you know, we're probably not going to get that again after episode 8. It is sad, but I'm glad that they take the time to find a good voice actress who can embrace it, who can give it the care and love that it needs. James, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I think the first video for these Forces of Destiny cartoons that had Leia was the one with the Ewoks, and at first I was kind of unsure about her voice because I thought, it didn't quite have that Carrie Fisher quality to it. But then I thought, well, it's her doing Leia without doing an outright imitation of Leia, which would have been a little too thick. So it's just the right balance. And we've had a few more videos of her since then. There's the one on Hoth.
With R2 and Chewie.
Yeah. So another little...
That's the one that got me hooked on her. Like, you know what? She actually understands Leia as a character because she puts the emphasis on the right words.
Yes.
And you can tell that she's having a good time in the recording booth and just fully embracing the Leia. So that's the episode that got me hooked.
Yeah, we've had 2 more with her since then. There was a new one where she was like evading stormtroopers.
Yeah, with Sabine.
Yeah. A character I'm not too familiar with, so I'll have to catch up a little bit.
Sabine.
Oh, that's her right there?
Yeah,
okay.
Sabine.
Well, the blue hair definitely stands out.
Yeah.
Right on.
She's a Mandalorian. Her family name is Ren, not from Knights of Ren, R-E-N, but W-R-E-N, Ren.
Okay.
Different.
Gotcha.
They're Mandalorians, and Kylo Ren's not Mandalorian. He's obviously a Solo, so 2 different things. There was much speculation early on, like Dave Filoni was, no, he's a man. They're from Mandalore. They're Mandalorian, so different.
Yeah.
Different.
Speaking of Dave Filoni, I love the part of the Shelby Young interview where he gave her some advice on how to record lines for the cartoon show.
Correct.
Because, and she herself is only, I guess, a new fan to the Star Wars universe because she talked about how she had never watched all the movies until 2011. And I love how at the time her coworkers would actually call her your worshipful. Or your worshipfulness.
Worshipfulness.
Yeah,
that's a nice throwback to Han Solo calling us. That's very fitting. And I know she goes
foreshadowing there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyone who goes up and does voice acting for Star Wars, I think, has to at some point meet Dave Filoni and meet the animation crew that is at the behind the scenes stuff, and the creative directors and the writers and the producers of those animated shows. And if you can convince Dave Filoni that you are the voice for this particular character that I'm sure he loves as much as any of us do, then you're going to probably stick around for quite a while. That's what happened with Sam Witwer. He just was impressed Dave Filoni so much that he keeps coming back for other voice acting parts through all mediums of Star Wars, video games, little short films and then animated series. So
Nice.
he keeps coming back up and over and over and over again. So I'm sure if she keeps the same like record and can have a good voice, I'm sure she'll be around for quite a while.
That's the beauty of voice work. You can pull multiple roles off, no problem.
Yeah, another one that just came up. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Javina Gunkark. I can't remember how to pronounce her name. Anyway, she is the voice actress, and now she was a model for the new protagonist in the new Battlefront 2 game.
Okay.
She plays the main character, and they modeled the character after her. And she's doing the audiobook for the book accompanying it.
Nice.
And she is just over the moon excited about it. Like, I've seen many interviews with her now, and it's like every time she talks about it, it's nonstop how grateful she is, how wonderful it is. It's a dream come true. And I think this is the same way for this young lady here. And just keep her in the family, keep it going is all I say. Got
strong space heroines, all in favor of that. And Dave Filoni had this great advice for Shelby Young where he said, watch other movies with strong female characters and do the Leia voice using those lines. And over time, it'll just be a voice you can come to.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so true. Getting off a little bit, is there a particular voice, maybe... that you'd want to hear on screen that maybe of an act, not just Star Wars, but maybe of an actor that has passed away that it'd be hard to fill, and then something like that, maybe like say like Mark Hamill with Joker. So we have Mark Hamill who was very beloved at Joker, and then over the next couple of series we had other people step in to voice the Joker. How hard do you think that is to fill someone's shoes like that? Like we have this young lady here, Shelby Young, filling in and doing the voice for Leia, and then having someone come in like taking over for Mark Hamill to do a Joker.
Yeah, I think it's easier in that department because the Joker itself is an iconic character, and we've had so many different incarnations of it, like Cesar Romero. Yeah. For years, people were like, no one can top Jack Nicholson, and then Heath Ledger came along, and in all that, you have Mark Hamill. And I wish I knew his name, but the guy who did the voice on the Batman cartoon show.
That was a very good Joker. The way they portrayed even the animation style in that show I actually really dug that show. It was a throwback at first. That first season was a throwback to the old Joker. And as it progressed, it became more and more like Batman Beyond, which was a very interesting. That's how I got out of it. This is storyline.
I've kind of skipped around the show, but I know at one point, they did a Dark Knight Returns episode, and
they kind of grew it. They kind of went exactly from the old school Batman from like the 1960s campy all the way through like what we now think of Batman. It wasn't all the way through like. Ben Affleck's Batman. No, but it was like Nolan's Batman.
Yeah.
So.
I think the show was like 04 to 08 or 09 maybe. Or something.
It's good. It's good. Yeah. I know what Batman, Star Wars. It's all dark stuff. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I
think part of your question was, it's like, what other cartoons of this form would you like to see?
Yeah.
And kind of crossing the streams a little bit. If you watch Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, there's a scene where Khan is introduced. And he says to Chekhov, I never forget the face, Mr. Chekhov. And if you watch the episode of the original series where Khan first appeared, they never meet. Walter Koenig was not part of the cast at the time. And so for years and years, people were like, could y'all fill in that gap a little bit?
Did they do that with the animated series?
I don't know if they ever did.
The last 2 years of the 5-year mission?
I don't know. but like I say, that's a very weird little plot hole, but one that could be easily fixed by a cartoon. I don't know who made this up, but I vaguely remember reading one of the cast members joking that what happened was Khan was on his way to the bathroom and Walter Koenig, or Chekhov, I should say, was like taking too long, and then just finally walked out, and then Khan just pushed him aside and like, I will never forget you for what you have done.
That's it. Kind of reminds me of like the trash compactor scene in The Force Awakens. It's like, do you have a trash compactor? Yeah, we do. It's like that's like just silly things like that just make me laugh, and that would be a great thing to animate.
Fill in that gap.
Just let's not have it the old animation style from the original animated cartoon. That was terrible. But we will go ahead and just keep it moving to the next topic. We've got some Han Solo news, and it's not bad news this time. And it's not even.
They're doing stuff.
Ron Howard's there fixing stuff. So we had some leaked. I use quotation marks leaked. They weren't leaked. They That's how it was portrayed in the news, like leaked photos. But they weren't leaked. They came straight from Ron Howard. He actually took some behind-the-scenes photos of wardrobes. Now, he said on the caption, I think he put one on Twitter and one on Instagram, both 2 different closets. And with the caption underneath, guess whose closet this is, or guess whose wardrobe this is. And if you've seen the photos, it'll probably be, you'll see it flash up here. They're very colorful. They're very bright. My first thought was Lando, because he seems the type. But we have to remember, this is from a galaxy far, far away, taking its wardrobe straight out of the 1970s. So it couldn't be anybody. Who you got?
I don't know. Lando's a good guess. Yeah, the look of the costumes to me were, again, crossing the streams, they were very Star Trek original series.
They were. They had that flair to it.
Yeah, like
the colors.
They almost looked like they belonged in the J.J. Abrams rebooted Star Trek universe.
Which is a good universe.
Yeah. I'm not complaining. I love the costume designs in those 3 films. But I don't know, kind of hard to top Lando. I can't imagine Han Solo wearing, red and yellow and all those.
Maybe they'll introduce it like like another gambling planet where they have lots of money and I don't know.
I don't know. They I don't know. They kind of seem like again, kind of like it got Star Trek aesthetic on the mind, but they kind of seem like something you'd wear maybe in a space station.
Maybe
like,
yeah.
They're kind of like close to an officer uniform. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe yeah.
Cloud City, early days. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, yeah, Cloud City was a gambling place. That's who am I thinking? Lando. That's what he did. He wanted to have that place as sort of like a retreat, casino.
Yeah.
And when you think casino, I think of Vegas. And when I think of Vegas, I think of 1960s and 70s Vegas, where everything was just like colorful and bright and tacky. And that's exactly what that was. Yeah. So maybe you're onto something. Maybe it's wardrobes for the people who are going to be in Cloud City.
Yeah, work in the casino.
Exactly.
And Lando will lose the Falcon to Han in a bet.
Maybe. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's very convincing. I didn't think about that.
I've always wondered how that went down. Like, did they get drunk and
we'll probably start
playing cards, or did like Lando challenge Han to an arm wrestling contest or something?
I'm sure we'll find out. It'll probably be in the film. We got to figure out how Han got the Falcon and the Kessel Run. We got to see both of those things. So, with that being said, do you think with these leaked photos or these unofficial photos, do you think this is a good set in the right direction, good course correction for the bad news that all this like firing of Lord and Miller and getting a new editor? Do you think this is a good step forward for Ron Howard to go and put these out there going, hey, I'm working, hey, we're doing this, everything's good, we're great? What do you think?
Yeah, it's just it's just Ron Howard taking half a step forward, like, hey, let me show you some of our new stuff that we got here. Here's the costumes, we're still making the movie, and here's a little quick shot of what we got. And it's like what I said last time, that they're just slowly going to introduce us to more stuff. Some more photos, more costumes, maybe eventually some footage, and then change the narrative a little bit and show us the movie or a look of what we're going to get. Because you can only go forward from this point.
Yeah, once you hit rock bottom, all you can do is go up.
Exactly.
So no, I agree. I think this is a good tactic to go, hey, we had all this bad press, but me, I'm Ron Howard, and here's some really cool stuff. We got some really bright colors and stuff that kind of would feel like it would belong in this universe. Because again, the first one came out in '77. They still had a very distinctive look, and from some of the photos that have come out, everyone has that same sort of flare hair, which is kind of what we kind of expected. At least I expected that, because you can't have Star Wars with modern hairstyles because it wouldn't fit. Because everything was kind of developed in the '70s through the '80s. Yeah. So everything is looking great so far. It is a good step forward, and probably like a half step, like you said.
Yeah, a half step forward.
I think we'll get some more behind the scenes little photos, because we had the one from Ron Howard that was he had a coffee cup, and then he had a picture of a case of water. That was the first set he.
See, I didn't see that one. I just saw the Twitter wardrobe photo. I didn't know that there was a different one on Instagram.
Yeah, there's 2 of them, but they're both wardrobe photos.
Oh, okay.
So there's different wardrobes. Gotcha. I think there's one side, and then the other side of the wardrobe is exact anyway. Okay. But before a week ago or so, they had Ron Howard to tweet out a picture of a case of water, saying, "This is all I can show you for now." But he was on set, because you can see like the XLR cables everywhere. But it was kind of a nice thing, like saying he's on set, he's there. So
and he's staying hydrated.
And he is staying hydrated. Those desert planets can get a little dry. Wear sunscreen, folks, and drink lots of water. That's how you prevent sunburns and dehydration. With that, we'll go on and keep with the Han Solo news. Of course, we all know Woody Harrelson's going to be in this film. He's mentioned a couple times, and he was announced a couple months back. He's going to be playing a character who's like a mentor to Han Solo, but he also has another big movie coming out, War of the Planet of the Apes, which is going to be a fantastic film. And
Watching it later today.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, lucky dog. Did it come out this weekend?
Well, they do early shows on Thursday evenings. Yeah, that's the new trend. They don't do midnight premieres anymore. It's just
lame. Got to work for it.
I know, but at the same time, you get your movie earlier.
Yeah. You actually you get up and can go to work the next day without being dog tired.
Yeah.
I get it. But I worked for my movies in the day. Damn it.
I know. It's like back in high school. I remember rolling my eyes when I heard people saying they were going to the midnight premiere of episode 3. I'm like, why would you do that? And then 2 months later, me being the ultimate hypocrite, there I am going to the midnight showing of Batman Begins.
Yep. It was worth it. That was a really good movie.
Yeah.
I haven't done a midnight premiere in forever. I think the last one I was at Star Wars. I think it was for episode 3, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think it was episode 3. I was actually at the Tinseltown in Pflugerville, and that's just where I ended up seeing it. So, but getting back to Harrelson Ford, he actually was sitting down for an interview for the War of the Planet of the Apes.
Harrelson.
Yeah, what did I say?
Harrison Ford.
It's close.
It's like, that's a surprise.
Yeah, surprise. He does not need a cameo in this movie. Yes, it was Woody Harrelson.
No,
right.
They are not only replacing the directors, and with Ron Howard, it's like, hey, Alton Emmerich, get out of the way. I'm Han Solo.
He'll get progressively older the further back in time we go. He'll just reverse in age and becomes continuity issues with episode 8 or episode 7, but whatever.
The hashtag fake Han Solo spoilers. Han Solo is also Benjamin Button.
Spoilers, Han Solo dies. Anyway, so getting back to this, in the interview, I don't remember quite where it was from. I don't think I got the actual actually, you know what? I think it was the Hollywood Reporter, if I do remember myself. But they go on to ask I was going to say Harrelson Ford again, Woody Harrelson, if he knew any of the behind the scenes drama, how maybe it affected everything, if he was aware of any of the leaked photos that came out, and he was surprised that he didn't know that there was that, and I mentioned it off show that someone took a really good behind the scenes photo of Alton Ehrenreich and another actor in costume on set. Woody Harrelson was not aware. He was shocked, but he did go on to say that he said, regarding Ron Howard as a director, he's like, and I quote from Woody Harrelson, you can relax, man, because obviously the Force is with us. But of course, he says all this with the Woody Harrelson flair and the smile and the giggle and the laugh that he does.
I mean, come on, man, the Force is with us.
Exactly. Yeah. So he also goes on to say that he really did respect. He loved Chris and Phil, and he also thinks that they landed in very capable hands with Ron Howard. Are you surprised by any of these remarks? Giving the praise to the old directors and giving thanks for the new one. I don't see this as a big shock. So
what else is he gonna say?
Yeah, you can't go, those guys were jerks. They made me wear Hawaiian shirts and have crazy hair. No, he's not gonna say anything. He wants this movie to succeed like anything else, and he wants to make sure the audience has a good time. He's an entertainer, so he wants to entertain. He doesn't want to be dragged down and to the muck of bad movies. And he had his share of bad movies. Don't get me wrong, but he's been on a good trend.
Yeah.
Starting with Zombieland, in my opinion.
Sure.
So, I don't see that.
I wonder.
Changing.
Yeah, it kind of makes me wonder what Woody Harrelson are we going to get? Are we going to get the more Cheers comedic type Woody Harrelson, or are we going to get the more cutthroat natural born killers all the way up to War for the Planet of the Apes?
I want Woody Harrelson from Zombieland. I want the cutthroat with the comedy.
There you go.
Because if you haven't seen Zombieland, I don't know what you're missing. Yeah, you got to see it. I don't care if you hate zombies. It's a freaking amazing movie.
I'm not into the whole zombie apocalypse
Neither am I.
thing. It takes a lot for me to like those. I don't watch Walking Dead or any other movies, but Zombieland is awesome.
Yeah, Zombieland is fantastic. Woody Harrelson is fantastic in it. And if there's anything that says Han Solo in any of his parts, in any of his movies, it's that particular movie because he's got that grunge, that no nonsense attitude. It's this way or it's no way at all. That's very Han Solo to me. And hearing him say the way he says, the way I can picture him saying, the Force is with us, and then praising Lord Miller and welcoming. I kind of gives me goosebumps for the movie. Like if he's getting this into
those good vibes again.
Yeah. If he's getting this into it, and Woody Harrelson is a very good character actor, and if he can get into the character and he's excited about it, my God, just let me see this movie already. So
yeah,
and I think it's how you feel as well.
It's like watching all or doing this show and getting all the Han Solo news from you. Yeah, up until them firing the directors, I was feeling kind of good about this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I was one of those people whose initial thought was, we didn't really ask for this movie.
See, I was right there with you too, but I will support Star Wars.
Yeah, but then we all, do the show and we see the vehicle designs and
which look good.
Yeah, and the casting of Donald Glover and I even came around to Alton Ehrenreich when I thought he looked like the dude from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, who kind of the guy who gives River Phoenix his hat. I thought he had the vibe of that guy.
Yep.
Who is in a movie with Harrison Ford, who is Han Solo, and all of a sudden, my brain just started checking all these boxes and thought, I can see it.
I said twice. With Baby Driver coming out, we got Ulrich. I can't remember his last name. Anyway, we got that kid from Baby Driver.
Angel what was his last name? Escort? Angel?
Yeah, that's not Angel. It's
Angel?
Anyway, I forget his name. Baby from Baby Driver would make a good Han Solo. I think I watched a bunch of interviews.
But
with
he's got a baby face.
He does.
Han Solo should not have a baby face.
Yeah, but they can fix that with makeup.
Well, part's already taken, though.
It is. But if they had to pull Alton Ehrenreich out, I would be okay with them replacing him with this kid because he was a good actor. And Baby Driver, he stole the show. We'll get into that in a whole nother show. But
yes.
I can't wait for this. This is nothing but good news to me. We need more interviews like this, more candid interviews, more behind the scenes footage from Ron Howard, and maybe another cast photo would be good.
Something.
Yeah, something. Maybe D23. I doubt they'll do it, but maybe at D23 they'll have some sort of cast photo or a name.
Yeah.
Bring out the name of the movie.
They could rush
a trailer. Sure, they did it with Guardians.
Not even a trailer, man. It's like for BVS. What was it? Comic-Con 2015 maybe. They showed a 20-second clip of Batman firing on the bat signal and Superman flying above him. Give us a 30-second clip just to shut people up. And
whenever the first Guardians came out, they were literally shooting for a week, and then they released a trailer at Comic-Con.
What?
Yeah,
it was that quick.
It was that quick.
Give us something control the narrative. I mean, if you're able to get people focused on a photo of wardrobes, you just show us some actual footage, and then you can get the hype machine back on track.
That's exactly correct.
That.
And from what I understand, I can't remember who it was. It was someone who was close to the Han Solo and Productions. Said they actually had a trailer. They had a bunch of stuff getting ready to big promotion push, and then all of a sudden they fire Lord Miller and get a new editor, and so they put everything on hold. They have it prepared.
Okay.
I think they're waiting for Ron Howard to give the okay on to whether or not they want to use the trailer footage for what Ron Howard wants to say with the actual footage versus what Lord Miller had put together. That's how I see it.
It makes you wonder if the stuff they have is fitting the new tone that they want to go with. Is a lot of this stuff going to get just reshot or scrapped?
Yeah, I don't know. They do have reshoots. Again, we've covered reshoots before. Reshoots are always scheduled. It just depends on maybe if they're going to add anything extra to the reshoot schedule. So we'll see. We can't wait to have more good press come out for Han Solo. They always say any press is good press, but sometimes bad press is bad press. We don't need any more bad press for Han Solo. But we'll go into a much happier topic, a much more fun topic that I like talking about, which is the animated versions of Star Wars. We have the first 8 episodes of the Forces of Destiny have come out. They've hit the YouTubes on the Disney YouTube page. You go check them out. They're about 3 minutes each.
If that.
Some of them are 3, some of them are 2.5. Yeah. They're really quick short films that kind of fill in the little gaps here and there.
They're a lot of fun.
Yep. And with the first 8 episodes done, we're actually going to take a bit of a break. We're going to come back in September and have more episodes come out.
So it's 8 and then break. Okay.
Yep. And with all of these that have come out on YouTube, they're actually going to be premiering on. They're going to be premiering on the Disney Channel in a week, 2 weeks. So they'll be back again. If you don't want to watch them on YouTube, you can go watch them on your screen in about a week if you have the Disney Channel at home.
Wonder how they gonna or. I wonder how they're going to air those. It'd be like at the end of some episode of something, or during a commercial break, or what is?
Yeah. So the way Disney Channel does their marketing and their programming for their channels, they sometimes have little short cartoons in between other things.
Okay.
Nickelodeon used to do the same thing. So did Cartoon Network back in the back when they actually had animated series on the TV. Yeah. Which they don't anymore, which bothers me.
Yeah,
it's that, or they have like blocks of nothing but like Teen Titans Go for like hours on end. You're like, oh, this is stupid. There's so many more cartoons out there. Anyway, what's your thought on the first 8 episodes?
I liked them. I did have, like, if I had to air a grievance, I guess the very last one, Bounty of Trouble, which had Princess Leia meeting up with Sabine to turn over some data tapes
for the locations of all the Imperial bases.
Yeah, bases. First off, just to prove that I'm not entirely sore about the episode, I do like how they still call them data tapes.
Yeah.
Even in a galaxy far, far away, they have tapes.
Tapes, yep.
We have actual tapes.
You know, it's funny. My grandfather used to work for the state here, the state of Texas, and he would have to go in every so often and switch out data tapes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Aw.
Which is, that to me is like every time I hear data tapes, I think of these little teeny tiny tapes, but they're actually the big tapes that we see in Star Wars. Anyway, that's just what I think.
Yeah. So, like, as a kid, did you think your granddad was like working for the rebellion, or?
I knew the difference because I've been to his office a bazillion times before.
You could imagine.
Yeah, I could imagine. Yeah. It was more like, what are they for? And he never could give me an answer, so I never really asked. Later on, I don't really care anymore, but it just data tapes always reminded me of that. But anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
So your grievance is you're not really
grievance? Okay, so Sabine tosses a grenade against the wall and it detonates by the stormtroopers, and it's full of paint.
That's very common, actually.
Really?
Yes.
That's a thing?
For Sabine.
For Sabine. Okay, I'm glad you said that, because at first I was like, we already got gypped out of a giant worm eating a dude in one of the Rey cartoons, and I thought that they were just Disney-fying the act of a bounty hunter setting off an explosion by making it be paint.
So, and the Clone Wars, Rebels. In Rebels, she's from Rebels. Got to get my cartoons straight, folks. And Rebels, when you meet Sabine, she's very artistic.
Okay.
She likes to paint. She has colored hair. Her Mandalorian armor's all painted up. Her helmet's all painted up. And everywhere that they were visiting Imperial bases, she'd always paint on the walls. And she didn't have paint bombs. That was the thing to blind people, because the stormtroopers, if their visors get painted on, in the cartoons they can't see. But if you read the books, they actually have like HUD displays that can penetrate it. But in the cartoons, it's more fun to paint them up. She also did carry regular explosives too, but they weren't always looking to kill the stormtroopers, because that's not how they did business. They were the rebellion. They weren't heartless, so they did everything to distract and maim or paint.
Unless you're Diego Luna, in which case you got to shoot some fools in the back,
dude. Yeah, I mean,
which I'm not condemning. I'm all for it.
Yeah, well, when the situation calls for it. But if you're part of a team that can get in and out fast and no problem, and you don't have to kill people, there's no reason to. But if you're doing the dirty work, gotta do the dirty work. So nothing wrong there.
In that case, all I'll say is, in that one particular episode, man, this is not breaking news, but man, Stormtrooper aim sucks.
It does. It's funny. There's a couple of theories out there on why it sucks and why the clones were better. Because they were batched, they were bred from the most deadliest bounty hunter in the galaxy, versus a batch of stormtroopers who were born and bred and went to school as children instead of bred.
Yeah, they're just dudes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And being a stormtrooper was the lowest job in the Empire.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Anybody could be a stormtrooper.
I did not know that.
Not everybody could be an officer. That's why the officer corps was such jerks, because they were special. They went to the academy. They went to the Imperial Academy on blankety blank planet. So they had a bunch of them. If you read Lost Stars, it goes all into it. It's kind of cool.
That's the one with the dude who joins the rebellion and the girl who joins the Empire.
Yeah, but they both joined the Empire together at first, and then they split.
Oh, okay.
And once he figured out the Empire was doing all this shady stuff. So.
And the girl's the one who's in the new video game.
No, it's
right?
not her.
No, that's not her. Okay,
Nope.
it sounded a lot like her from the way
Yes,
that
it does.
that it looked. Yeah.
It sounds a lot like her. It's and it's like I don't want to be racist, but they're both brown, but one's black, one's Hispanic, or one's whatever.
Well, that, like switching gears to Force Awakens, that was one thing that intrigued me about the First Order, because in the scene where they're activating their Starkiller weapon, you got women and some like Hispanic-looking women in the operations room firing off the weapon. I'm like, this is kind of a severe break from typical Star Wars lore, where everyone who works for the Empire are white and British. It's like
they're trying to. Well, the First Order was different. So the First Order, they did take, they expanded the idea of having just white British people. Let's be honest, they're all Brits, right? So they actually get into it. I mean, that's why Thrawn was so interesting when he came out, especially in the old canon. That he was blue. He wasn't a human. He was Chiss. He was blue. He was not white. And to have him go all the way up to like Admiral. It freaked people out. Like if you read throughout the new Thrawn, everyone's trying to, all the core officers are trying to get rid of him because he's not a human, but he's a strategist and he out strategizes everybody and just ends up killing him anyway, which is no brainer. Yeah.
As soon as I finish reading Dune, I'll have to borrow Thrawn from you.
Thrawn's good. It's an. What I would recommend doing is watching Rebels.
Okay, got
season 4.
Okay.
Or season 3, because that introduces Thrawn into the new canon.
Okay.
That way you can kind of get an understanding of his voice, because they match the voice pretty darn well to what it should be from the old canon. So it's kind of nice. And if you listen to the audiobook as well, they kind of match everything up that way. So nice. He has a particular way of speaking in his native language. So watch Rebel season 4 to get an understanding of how he speaks, and that way you can kind of go back in and understand who he actually is. It makes way more sense that way.
Right on.
So that's my advice. Speaking of advice, not really advice, but we have D23 coming up in 2 weeks. This week, of course, is Comic-Con. No, it's this weekend. Sorry, D23 is this weekend. Yeah. I'm all over the place. So D23 is this weekend. The following weekend is Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con International, which is in San Diego. But first, we have D23, and D23 is the Disney-owned Comic-Con, if you will. It's their own convention. They only pimp their stuff. They only have Star Wars, Marvel, animations, video games. It's all Disney products. And on Saturday, the big day, they have the Star Wars stuff, or they call it the live-action panel, in which they're going to have Star Wars. Of course, they're going to have Star Wars. But they're not having anything from Han Solo that we know of. However, we are getting a little bit of Episode 8. What we're getting, we don't know. We know that Rian Johnson has been confirmed to be there. He actually gave that away in a Twitter conversation that he had with fans. And in fact, the fans...
I like this part.
Yeah. The fans asked if he was going to D23. And he replied, and I quote again, "Yes!" with 10 S's. Yes. And, I figured that was his way of going, yes, just stop asking me that question. Of course I'm going to be there.
Either that or he was imitating a snake or something.
Maybe.
Yes.
I do know that they're going to have a panel for Episode 8. They're going to have the cast and crew come out, which is a no-brainer. I figured they would do that. They did it last year for Rogue One. They did it last year for the year before that for Force Awakens. So it's no big surprise there. What is surprising is they haven't announced what they're going to show. What they usually do, what they've done in the past, is either have a trailer or B behind-the-scenes footage. And everyone's kind of speculating, well, we've had a trailer, so this one's obviously got to be the behind-the-scenes footage. And I think we talked about this last week, about the possibilities of having the behind-the-scenes footage at D23, and that appears to be the case, which is kind of what we figured. However, on the Star Wars show, on the YouTube, on the Star Wars channel, they have the Star Wars show. It comes out every Wednesday. And they have the scoop on things. They just can't. They build hype is what they do. They said if you can't attend D23, and if I don't know if they're going to live stream the panels or not. I didn't hear that, but make sure you pay attention on Saturday for Star Wars information. Are you surprised that Rian Johnson's going to be there? And do you think we're going to get behind the scenes?
No, I'm not surprised that he'll be there. It's his movie, and so of course he'll make an appearance. As to what we're gonna get, I keep flashing back to a video they posted on day one of them filming The Last Jedi, and it started back at the island where we last saw Luke and Rey.
Skellig Michael Island.
Yeah, and it had a new shot of Luke standing there, and I think it was a video about them just being happy to be back on the island filming.
Yeah.
So if I had to guess, as much as I like your idea of them showing clips of Luke and have him not say anything, I kind of think it would be cool for them just to show Luke Skywalker's first words spoken on camera.
Yeah, they have the voiceover in the new trailer. That's all. He does the voiceover, but we do see him talk. He and the end scene.
He's in a shadow though.
Yeah, he said, and he told us it's time for the Jedi to end. And you can see his mouth move.
Yeah, and that conversation is probably after he's already spoken a few times and he's having a conversation with Rey or someone. But
the first 5 minutes of the movie, that's where that line comes from. I can guarantee it.
But there was a rumor a while back that his first words were going to be, "Who are you?"
Yeah,
maybe they'll show that part.
Who are you?
Yeah, who are
Arnold.
you? Hashtag Last Jedi spoilers. Arnold Schwarzenegger turns out to be Luke Skywalker. I'm a cybernetic organism, living tissue of a metal endoskeleton.
Get out.
Get out.
Get off my island. It's not good. I can just totally see that happening. No, it won't happen. As much as I would love to see Arnold, I could see Arnold as a background character, as an alien.
I can see Mark Hamill doing an Arnold impression, too.
I bet they joke around so much, in between sets, they just they get in character and then all of a sudden change their voice right before a scene. That way the other actors is what just happened?
Yeah, there's what was it? Part of the gag reel of the 09 Star Trek movie. I'm in a real Star Trek mood today. I'm sorry, not sorry. But there's
Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry. But there's a clip of Kirk and Spock boarding Spock Prime's ship, and one of them just starts going into a Scottish accent just on accident, and then they both kind of play off it, and they do the entire scene in a Scottish accent. It was a lot of fun.
That's exciting. Yeah, no, I'm not surprised when I read any of this. It's one of those things where we expected it. They got to have some good Star Wars press come out of D23. Even if you're not going to show anything Han Solo, you got to have something. Yeah. You got to give the fans something, because we're fickle. We need stuff now. Yesterday, 10 days ago, we need stuff now. So they're going to give us something. If it's a behind-the-scenes reel, that'd be great, because they did the same thing with Rogue One, and some keen-eyed fans picked out some cool stuff from behind the scenes. Like, oh, look, that's Anakin's burnt body. We might get to see him in the Bacta-tank. Sure enough, we got to see Anakin in the Bacta-tank, which was very cool. So it's stuff like that I look forward to. So that's all the stories I've got. Do you got anything?
Yeah. I kind of shot my mouth off a lot on the Forces of Destiny stuff. Did you have a favorite cartoon from all that, or a favorite moment from all the 8 episodes we've seen so far?
Well, like I said earlier, when we saw Leia on Hoth with R2 and Chewie, that episode in particular I really enjoyed, because it kind of showed Leia as a boss. I could see it on film that actually happening with Leia, going, you are not going to get the best of me, I'm going to get the best of you. That's just how I roll. As much as I really love that episode, I think that is my favorite. Okay. The last episode they showed with Leia and Sabine, that tickled all of the right notes for me, because it brought in the tied in Rebels more. And I think my third favorite is with Ahsoka. I mean, go figure, it's Ahsoka. Yeah. And that to me, again, checked all the boxes for me. It brought in the Clone Wars. So now we have Clone Wars connections, we have Rebels connections, and we have Empire Strikes Back connections. And it all kind of ties together. And that to me, that little block after Ahsoka to this one just filled in a bunch of little things that, did we need to see it? Probably not, but it's cool to have it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's my thoughts on it.
Cool.
So I think that's going to do it for our short episode for this week of the Force Friday show. Remember, guys, like and subscribe, comments, do all of the things. If you like us, hit the thumbs up. If you don't like us, hit the thumbs down. Surprisingly, no one dislikes us. Please let that not change.
We're very likable guys.
Apparently so. Yeah. We're going to see a little logo here. Our logo, click that if you want to subscribe. Please subscribe. Here you'll see the last week's episode. It's a very good episode. We talked a whole bunch of stuff, speculations on D23. And 2 weeks ago, we'll see that one over there. Make that one hit 20,000 views. We're at 17,000 now. Make that one hit 20,000 views. Again, this is our 21st episode, so we can legally drink
We can drink now.
So rock on to that one. My name is James Waddington. Down there, I've got James Armstrong, and we will see you guys next time. Take care.